Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Dinosaur Island. Let's get started. Things have been changing on the island as of lately. As summer approaches, so does the dry season. This small stream is one of the last forearms of water that is still here. Near it, as you can see, is Corytha, the male Corythosaurus. He is here getting a drink. Something that, unfortunately, many of the animals are having trouble doing these days. Still, though, there's just enough water to leave most of the animals' thirst on the island quenched. Unfortunately for Corytha and the rest of the hadrosaur herd, which we can only assume must be nearby, only a few hundred meters upstream, there is a very powerful predator. He may be small, but for his size, he is strong. It is a male Dilophosaurus. This is not Silas, though. As we can tell by his coloration, he is younger and has not reached full maturity. If he had, he would share the blue color of our male Dilophosaurus Silas from Season 2. Corytha has drank enough. He is no longer thirsty, and decides that it is time to move away from the stream and get back to the rest of his herd. After only a few minutes of walking, Corytha arrives at the location of the rest of his herd. Corytha reunites with his friend Para, the male Parasaurolophus. However, Maya, the Maiasaura, is doing something ever so slightly unexpected. Maya has moved away from the rest of the herd and appears to be digging a nest, a behavior that we have not seen, unfortunately, from any species of dinosaur in quite some time. It is good to know that at least a few types are still successfully breeding on Dinosaur Island. However, this is a bit odd coming from Maya, considering that, as I mentioned in episode 1, she has recently lost some babies to predators, unfortunately. This can only mean one thing. She must have mated one last time with a male before she left her previous herd of other Maiasaurs to come and herd with Para and Corytha. Because when a dinosaur is digging a nest, you know that they are gravid. It does not take long for the nest to be complete. However, Maya is not already laying her eggs, which suggests that she hasn't made it all that long ago. It must have just happened right before she moved herds. But no matter how much longer she remains gravid before laying her eggs, it is still wonderful to see a gravid female dinosaur on the island. Meanwhile, with the other hadrosaurs of the herd only a few meters away, things are not going so well. The Dilophosaurus is losing patience. He has not eaten in quite a while, and as I mentioned before, he is still growing and young, as we can tell, for he does not have his maturity colors, the bright blue. This means that he has a higher metabolism, and he needs to eat more because food and energy is going into his growth. So despite the fact that he has not been stalking the hadrosaurs for any more than just about 20 minutes now, he decides that it is time to strike. The Dilophosaurus's target was Corytha. Corytha manages to escape, at least temporarily, from the jaws of the Dilo. However, he is far from okay. He has some deep gashes caused from the bite, right in his neck, inches away from his windpipe and his jugular. He is in a very bad way. Para, poor Para, can only watch as the battle unfolds between Corytha and the Dilophosaurus. All hope seems lost for Coritha, but then Maya comes in and saves. She bellows in victory. The Dilophosaurus just barely gets up. He runs off. He does no longer want to fight them. He is severely injured, and he knows that he cannot win. The Dilophosaurus may be gone, but Coritha is far from unscathed. The wound on his neck is still bleeding badly. His road to recovery may never happen, and his likelihood of survival is going downhill fast. Meanwhile, a few miles south and west on the island, we see a very majestic creature wandering through some scrubland. It is a huge bull Pachyrhinosaurus. They are quite majestic creatures. That is, when they're not dead and being feasted on by our favorite pack of T-Rexes. Haha, references to the last episode. Pachyrhinosaurus notices another dinosaur, a possible rival for territory. It is another ceratopsian, smaller, but no less strong and no less territorial. This is a Nasutoceratops, a recently discovered species, one that we had never seen on the island until very recently. The two dinosaurs face off. The Pachyrhinosaurus is bigger, and his boss is powerful, but he will never be able to stab or impale the Nasutoceratops. However, the Nasuto has very, very sharp horns and could easily inflict damage with those. Right now, the two are both performing territorial threat displays, bellowing and waving around their huge heads, trying to ward off the other rival without engaging in actual physical confrontation. However, desperate times call for desperate measures. They begin to engage in a true fight. Their bellowing can be heard for kilometers. That is the rarely heard Pachyrhinosaurus distress call. He has been stabbed in his gut by the powerful horns of the Nasutoceratops. However, he is not ready to give up. He charges fast. Despite little visual damage, the poor Nasutoceratops has much internal bleeding and many ruptured organs. Plus, the entire right side of his ribcage has been shattered by the powerful boss on the end of the nose of the Pachyrhinosaurus. The poor Nasutoceratops coughs out blood. He cannot do anything to stop his death. Meanwhile, in a forest not too far away from where the ceratopsian battle just took place, we see a very familiar character. It is Hammer, the female Pachycephalosaurus. She is feeding peacefully, but she is unaware that she is perilously close to the Utahraptor nest. In fact, the pack is watching her right now. Violet signals for the baby to stay back, while her and Razor handle Hammer. The truth is that Razor and Violet just hunted a few minutes ago. They aren't trying to get Hammer for food. They are protecting their young. They are preparing to strike. Hammer runs as fast as she can, but the raptors are still hot on her tail. Hammer darts into another patch of trees, hoping to evade the raptors. But it does not faze them. Her left foot has been snagged on a low-lying root. She is tripped, and she cannot get up, for her foot is still caught under the root. Razor moves in for the kill. Contrary to popular belief, raptors do not use their toe claws to disembowel their victims. Far from it. Their toe claws may be sharp, but there are no serrations on the side of them, which means that even though they can pierce just about anything, they cannot slice back and forth. So rather than gutting their prey, these claws come in handy for inflicting the one final death blow to a vulnerable area, such as the neck. When all hope seems lost, Hammer finally manages to dislodge her foot from the root. And she makes a break for it. Hammer runs out into the open, but in all of her panic, she trips again. It looks like she will not be getting up this time. Judging by those distress calls, she may have sprained or even broken one of her legs. Violet is ready to go in for the kill. Instead of using her toe claw, she decides to inflict one nasty bite to the throat. It appears that after all she's been through, Hammer may finally have met her demise. The bite that Violet inflicted hit Hammer's jugular. She is dead. She bled out almost instantly, passed out from the pain. Now her heart has stopped. It appears that one of our favorite characters is finally gone. Razor and Violet move in for the feast. These two will eat most of the carcass here, but they will have to bring back some of it to their nest so that their baby can get some to eat as well. The two cry out in victory. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Dinosaur Island.